Well, Mount with time to turn. He's played in Kai Havertz, who is around Ederson, and Havertz scores for Chelsea.
They had just beaten English champions and Pep's Man City in the 2021 Champions League final.
Blue is the colour in Porto tonight, and Chelsea are on top of the world.
Edward Mendy was flying.
He's grown to be the best goalkeeper in the league.
Really?
Yes.
Ederson, Alisson?
Without question.
N'Golo Kante was unplayable.
And without N'Golo Kante, I'm not sure Chelsea would have won today, because we know how many balls that he got back.
And Thomas Tuchel was a genius. They then won the UEFA Super Cup.
And it is Chelsea winners of the UEFA Super Cup 2021.
And the FIFA Club World Cup.
Havertz puts it in! Applause from the owner.
But behind the scenes, somewhere far from home in eastern Ukraine, a war was brewing, and it was about to send Chelsea tumbling down, down, and down.
Мы поддерживаем.
In February 2022, Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. Roman Abramovich, who had close ties to Putin, suddenly found himself in the spotlight. British politicians started asking tough questions.
What about the owner of Chelsea Football Club, Roman Abramovich?
He's a person of interest to the Home Office because of his links to the Russian state.
Would he still own Chelsea?
It's a mystery to me why Roman Abramovich has not yet been sanctioned. I mean, the government itself knows that he's been engaged in illicit activity.
In a desperate move to secure his control of the club, Roman Abramovich handed over stewardship to Chelsea's charitable foundation.
Roman Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea since 2003, is stepping away, at least for now, from control of the club. He's made a very rare statement.
But no one was fooled.
And he is trying to protect his asset.
And the Chelsea statement that came out, Rebecca, for a football club that generally does things very well, I thought was an embarrassment. It was very much ticking a box.
In March 2022, the UK government slapped sanctions on Abramovich and Chelsea Football Club. However, all this background noise did not affect the team's performance, but it was only a matter of time. A ticking time bomb. The club had to be sold. In April, Chelsea travelled to the Bernabeu for the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final. However, Chelsea was already 3-1 down on aggregate after a disastrous defensive performance at Stamford Bridge.
Karim Benzema wrapped up with pretty bows and just presented to him.
Mason Mount and Antonio Rudiger scored to put Chelsea level on aggregate.
It's cheap, Werner. Oh, it might break here for Mason Mount. Yeah!
Timo Werner then scored a wonderful semi-solo goal to put Chelsea ahead and within touching distance of the semi-final.
Tonight, Timo Werner, and still he goes on. God, he's done it! Timo Werner!
However, after a spectacular ball from Luka Modric, Rodrigo scored with a volley to send the game to extra time. In extra time, Karim Benzema, a hat-trick hero at the bridge, sent Real Madrid through 5-4 on aggregate with a headed goal.
Found some space, it's Benzema, it's in.
In mid-April, the news finally broke. toddboehly and Blueco would buy Chelsea.
A statement has just dropped on the Chelsea website saying that Roman Abramovich has completed the sale of Chelsea Football Club and related companies to an investment group led by Toddboehly.
I think hopefully they'll work in our favour and yeah, hopefully it can be a new start for Chelsea and a new era.
Are you going to miss Roman Abramovich?
Oh yeah, of course. I don't want him to go.
5th placed Tottenham and 6th placed Arsenal could no longer catch up with them, and this meant that Chelsea had qualified for the Champions League. In the summer of 2022, Toddboehly took over and started spending. The arrivals were non-stop, with over £250 million splashed out. Rudiger left the club on a free transfer to join European champions Real Madrid.
I came here alone and I live with 2 beautiful kids and my wife, and that's why London will always be special. You guys always say, blues forever. I hope it stays like that. Thank you very much.
Christensen, whose contract had also run out, joined their rivals, FC Barcelona.
The fans, I'm sorry for the upset that I caused. You guys know the connection that I have with this club since my teenage years, so you know I totally understand you guys being upset. Obviously, it's up to me now to restore your trust, and I'll do my best.
Romelu Lukaku, who the previous owners had bought for £100 million, was loaned back to Inter Milan after a disastrous season. Key staff members like Marina Granovskaya and Petr Cech left the club, leaving Boehly and his team, who had zero football knowledge, to run the club and its daily operations.
Biggest moment yet at Goodison on the opening evening. Jorginho versus Pickford. In he goes!
The season started in August with a narrow 1-0 win over Everton. Then came a 2-2 draw with Tottenham in a feisty derby which produced the famous Tuchel-Conte handshake at full time. Chelsea and Tuchel felt robbed. Christian Romero had escaped a red card after pulling Cucurella's hair during a corner kick which eventually led them to equalising.
Need a good corner, Tottenham here, and they've got it! They have got it!
Why would you not send him to the monitor to have a look?
I think I said to you before that it had both managers been cautioned. He'd cautioned about 8 or 9 players, and I tried to protect the referee, not because he's been met, because I tried to protect the referee. It was wrong, and obviously I paid the price.
Thomas Tuchel then embarked on a string of poor results, losing to Leeds and Southampton. The team wasn't clicking, and rumours of disagreements between him and Boehly began to circulate. On September 6th, Chelsea travelled to Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League. In the 13th minute, Chelsea was hit on the counter, and Zagreb scored with their first attempt on goal.
Danger man, it's Orsic, and he's in behind Chelsea. It's around the goalkeeper and in.
They lost the game, and a lot feared for Thomas Tuchel.
To describe and how to digest, I think it's I need a while to digest this. I cannot understand where this comes from.
The very next day, Thomas Tuchel was sacked.
Can now tell you that Chelsea have been given permission by Brighton to speak to Graham Potter.
Looks like it's going to be Graham Potter going to Chelsea, and I think he deserves his opportunity at one of the big six.
On September 8, 2022, Graham Potter was appointed as the new manager from Brighton.
You don't sack Thomas Tuchel and go to Graham Potter. And again, I'm trying to not be too disrespectful.
Yeah. I think Potter will be okay. I don't think he's going to be the holy grail for them. I do understand why they brought him in because of what he's done prima facie at Brighton and how he's kept on moving through the gears. I do think Potter will come up short.
He had taken the Seagulls from relegation to European football contention. Graham Potter had proved to be a project manager and to be good with the youth, with young players he had signed like Caicedo and Ciso and Mitoma shining for his former team.
And it's opened up for Conor Gallagher. Well, you just knew it.
In his first Premier League game, Chelsea won it late against Palace after a superb strike from former Palace player Conor Gallagher. In the Champions League, where Potter was new, they beat Italian champions AC Milan 2-0 with goals from Jorginho and Aubameyang. They also went on to beat Dinamo Zagreb and Borussia Dortmund. In January, toddboehly embarked on another spending spree.
Chelsea's spending over the last 6 months has been on an unprecedented scale. Does it start to show how...
At the same time, London rivals Arsenal were in the market for a winger, and they had identified Ukrainian talent, Mikhailo Mudryk.
Here's Mudryk, meanwhile, though, wrong side of Juranovic. Mudryk! Oh, brilliant!
However, toddboehly had other plans.
Breaking news, and that is all about Mikhailo Mudryk.
Chelsea board are now in Poland trying to reach verbal agreement with Mudryk.
This did not go down well with many fans who felt that it was random and unnecessary at the time.
Why on earth are Chelsea currently in Poland trying to hijack this Arsenal bid for Mikhailo Mudryk? Why are Chelsea trying to scupper this Arsenal deal? Mikhailo Mudryk is a player who has made it so desperately clear that he wants to sign for Arsenal. I have read fairly recently that he is fantasising about making his Arsenal debut for the club against Manchester United.
I'm tired, bro.
Scattergun
Todd needs to be stopped.
Do they actually need these players? Are they not better making strategic signings that looking for a bargain? Well, they just seem to be throwing money at everything.
Chelsea have just got to stop buying players. And players have got to stop signing for Chelsea.
Despite all the general spending, the results didn't improve, and Graham Potter was under pressure.
This goes to Chelsea
and he looks completely out of his depth. And I'm so surprised because I really thought he was going to do a good job. And look, it might take time.
Putting new players, it's got worse. Potter is as culpable as the rest of the players. If anything, he's worse. And the more that he stays here, the worse
he's
it's going to get.
He needs to go. He needs to move on.
The club decided to part ways with Potter after a poor run of form on the 2nd of April.
I don't think he was enjoying it there. I think he'll thought it was mad. I agree with everything he said about Todd Boehly. I've been very critical of Todd Boehly, but I think this is the first decision he's got right.
The number one thing is you got to be patient. You know, I think you're putting something together and you're expecting it to come together really quickly, and the reality is that anything really good takes a little bit of time.
This is my club in terms of my playing career and having managed, coached here before. So I have a lot of emotions and feelings towards the club.
On 6 April 2023, Frank Lampard returned as caretaker manager until the end of the season.
This is funny. This is genuinely funny. Frank Lampard has just been announced as temporary manager, caretaker manager until the end of the season. I don't even know if he sees the season out.
Well, I just think it's lazy. I think it's lazy, formulaic, uninspired. By Boehly, yeah, I do.
Is this not evidence of just how chaotic Chelsea are being run this season by Todd Boehly? I mean, ridiculous amounts of money spent in the summer, in January. You're touching £500 million, 2 managers sacked, and then you bring Frank Lampard back, who got sacked for Thomas Tuchel because he wasn't good enough.
Let me tell you why Chelsea are a joke, man, yeah? They've sacked Graham Potter, yeah? Graham Potter, no way is Frank Lampard a better manager than Graham Potter, innit? No way. In what lifeblood? Where has Lampard been? Derby, whatever, Graham Potter, Brighton alone, cancels out Lampard's whole entire career for me.
The team was still in Europe, with games against Real Madrid coming up.
And everybody's getting their heads handed to them by Real Madrid, Barcelona as recently as last night.
Our result for today? Chelsea's going to win. How much? 3-0. 3-0? Yeah. So what would you say to the fans after a really difficult 10 days? I say have a lot of faith, and we're going to win 3-0 tonight.
Oh, 3-0. 3-0. Bruv, does he probably don't even know who Real Madrid are.
Why does he say these things?
Because he's badly trained with the media, because he either doesn't have people who help him with the media, or if he does, he doesn't listen to them.
Frank Lampard lost both games and the team spiraled down with nothing to play for. Lampard's return was meant to boost morale, but it did not improve the team's fortune whatsoever. Chelsea finished the season in 12th place, their worst Premier League finish in decades. The team was in a mess, lacking direction and confidence, and waiting for the next manager to arrive.
Chelsea fans should be hugely optimistic about this coming season because, let's be honest, it can't be any worse than the last one, can it?
In the summer of 2023, Chelsea appointed Mauricio Pochettino as the new permanent manager. More new players arrived. Nicolas Jackson, Cole Palmer, and Moises Caicedo were among the notable signings, with over 400 million spent in the process. However, key departures were made as well, with Havertz joining Arsenal and Mason Mount and Kovacic joining Manchester United and Manchester City, respectively. The season began on August 13th with a 1-1 draw against Liverpool at the Stamford Bridge. A week later, on August 20th, the team would visit the London Stadium. They lost to the Hammers 3-1, with Caicedo the record signing, giving away a penalty on his debut.
Now, has there ever been a worse Chelsea debut for a player than Moises Caicedo yesterday?
That is one of the worst debuts I've seen from Moises Caicedo.
Strange game, but all too familiar, if you're completely honest. Caicedo with a standout, alongside Disasi, a standout, shocking performance, to say the least.
September and October showed slight improvements, with Chelsea securing narrow victories against teams such as Luton, Fulham and Brighton, and Enzo Fernandez scoring and assisting against the latter. Despite some flashes of brilliance, consistency remained elusive. As the winter months came, it became clear that the team was heavily reliant on Cole Palmer's goals and penalties, with key players such as Nkunku and Lavia missing for most of the campaign due to injury. There were also concerns about the discipline of the team, with players fighting for penalties.
It's a shame that we behave like this. That is a process of a young team that need to learn a lot. That is why we were not consistent enough. That showed because that we need time.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to show everyone what's the
take responsibility and stuff like that. You know, maybe it was a bit over the top, the arguing and stuff, but everyone just wants to win, help, so.
Chelsea reached the Carabao Cup final, Pochettino's first chance to win a trophy in England, and for Chelsea.
And the ribbons are red! It is Liverpool!
Although Chelsea dominated for much of the game, they didn't manage to score, even when Liverpool substituted all their main players to pull their academy players. This then earned them the title, the £1 billion Bodo jobs.
Why are Chelsea so tired? Chelsea are not playing European football, they're not playing any more than anybody else. Why is this expensively assembled squad so much more tired than everybody else?
It's not fair to put this, use this type of war in a team that is so brave and in a club that is always show that fight for big things.
You think about Mauricio Pochettino coming into Chelsea. Chelsea are a worse team today than we were under Graham Potter.
Palmer, a lovely nutmeg on Branthwaite from Palmer. Little flick as well for Jackson. Palmer's got it back! Oh my goodness me!
Although the team were able to secure a 6-0 win against Everton and a 5-0 win against the Hammers in the closing stages of the campaign, the team failed to qualify for the Europa League. This was because Manchester United, who had finished 8th, had beaten a drunk Man City side in the FA Cup final to claim the last Europa League spot. On May 21, 2024, after an internal review, Mauricio Pochettino was dismissed, much to the annoyance of the Chelsea fans.
How are you going to replace a manager like him? Just got the team going, went on a great run, getting to Europe.
Fans felt that Poch had found his balance and was heading in the right direction. A new manager was going to start from scratch, and this meant that fans had to be patient again through another building phase.
You're not quite getting a Cone Boy because he's gone and won the championship, I get that, but it's a very similar approach to what Arsenal did.
They're getting Mikel Arteta 2.0.
In the summer of 2024, Chelsea turned to a prodigy of Pep, who had worked with him in his treble-winning season, Enzo Maresca. The Italian manager had guided Leicester City back to the Premier League. However, many fans and pundits were skeptic about this move, citing Maresca's lack of experience as the main guy at a top and ambitious club like Chelsea.
Listen, there is nothing about this appointment that makes any kind of sense to me.
Chelsea Football Club finds new ways to surprise me. I'm still in shock over this one, I'm not going to lie.
Leicester in the Championship is a very different prospect from any Premier League club, let alone one with the expectation of Chelsea and the dysfunction over the last few years.
This is Chelsea all over, isn't it? This is Chelsea all over. I mean, Enzo Maresca has had one season.
It was clear that Maresca had been appointed with a clear mandate to implement a more cohesive and structured approach, moving away from the constant upheaval of the previous seasons. Chelsea quickly secured some interesting signings. The emphasis was on tactically fit and younger players that are able to grow in the club's vision.
I love you so much, guys. I miss you. Bye-bye.
Key players such as Thiago Silva had left the club though, meaning there was a huge overhaul in the squad's dynamic, with many new players arriving and many old players leaving the club.
So how excited are you for this next step in your career?
Yeah, really exciting again. There's always challenges. This is another challenge, and it's one that I'm relishing to go and really go out there and do my thing.
Much to the annoyance of Chelsea fans, Conor Gallagher, a Cobham graduate, was sold to Atletico Madrid after a spectacular season.
I think when you lose a player like that, you lose a bit of the soul of the club, and I think Chelsea have lost a little bit of the sense of that of late.
Trevor Chalobah, another fan favourite, was sidelined by Maresca as he did not, quote, fit his plans. The season started in August of 2024 with a 2-0 loss to Manchester City. However, after this, Chelsea embarked on a promising league campaign. Maresca's possession-based tactics gradually took hold and the team displayed improved cohesion and attacking fluidity. A string of impressive victories propelled Chelsea into the top 4 by October. Paul Palmer, Nicholas Jackson and Noni Madueke were all flying. They soon consolidated their Champions League spot, even getting to second place, only 2 points behind Liverpool at Christmas. However, there was a big problem.
Chelsea are third. Are you in a title race?
No, I said many times.
Enzo Maresca kept on insisting that the players were not yet good enough and they were, quote, ahead of schedule. This obviously got into the players' heads and the season capitulated. Fast forward to now, they have been eliminated from both domestic cups and are now sitting outside the top 4.
I'm here to win games. I'm here to bring this club to fight for titles. And I said this already many times.
Their only hope of silverware is the Conference League and the Club World Cup in the summer.
The problem is that when you win games, you look humble. And when you don't win game, you look like lack of ambition.
No matter what happens, Maresca's position has to be reviewed in the summer, with fans already calling for his head.
Since day one, I joined this club, and my intention is to win games, to win titles, and to bring this club where this club deserves to be.